In the quiet town of Fayetteville, North Carolina, a man named Chris Bledsoe was living an ordinary life. A successful businessman, a husband, and a father of 4, he had built a reputation as a hardworking and respected member of his community. But in 2007, everything changed. It was a day like any other, one filled with the usual stresses of life. Chris was battling severe health issues, including Crohn's disease, a debilitating condition that had caused him immense suffering for years. On top of that, financial troubles weighed heavily on his shoulders, leaving him searching for relief, for answers, for something. That evening, as the sun dipped below the tree line, Chris decided to go to the Cape Fear River to clear his mind. He was accompanied by a few friends, all of whom were passionate about hunting and the outdoors. But little did they know, what they were about to experience would forever change the way they viewed the world. As Chris wandered away from the group, he suddenly felt a strange stillness in the air. The usual sounds of the forest, chirping crickets, rustling leaves, had vanished. Then, without warning, he saw them. Hovering above the river, just beyond the tree line, were 4 glowing orbs of light. Their golden radiance was almost hypnotic, casting an ethereal glow on the water below. At first, Chris felt frozen, mesmerized by the spectacle before him. Then, as if responding to his gaze, the orbs began moving, pulsing, shifting, and darting through the air with intelligence and precision that defied all known physics. They weren't drones. They weren't conventional aircraft. They were something else entirely. Chris felt a wave of fear wash over him, but also something else. A deep, unexplainable sense of peace. It was as if the lights were communicating with him, not through words, but through an undeniable presence, a profound knowing. Then, just as suddenly as they had appeared, the orbs vanished. Chris, overwhelmed and shaken, ran back to his friends. But when he returned, the atmosphere was tense. His friends had seen something too. A massive craft, silent and enormous, had been hovering in the sky just moments earlier. Terrified, the group rushed back home, but the strange occurrences didn't end there. In the coming days, Chris began experiencing a series of unexplainable phenomena. Flashes of light appearing in his home, strange beings manifesting in his presence, and an overwhelming sense that he was being watched. His health, which had been deteriorating for years, suddenly began to improve. His Crohn's disease, once debilitating, vanished, a miracle that defied medical explanation. Chris believed that whatever he had encountered by the river had healed him. As he tried to make sense of these experiences, he confided in his family. But what he didn't expect was that they too would begin to witness strange events. His children spoke of shadowy figures appearing at the foot of their beds at night. His wife experienced time distortions, moments where reality itself seemed to warp around her. Their home became a focal point for bizarre lights in the sky, seen not only by the Bledsoe family but also by neighbors, police officers, and even government officials. Then, the story took an even stranger turn. One day, men in dark suits arrived at Chris's home. They weren't ordinary investigators. These men were from the highest levels of government, intelligence agencies, and even NASA. They wanted to know what Chris had seen. At first, Chris hesitated. He feared ridicule, dismissal, or even worse, retaliation, but the officials weren't there to discredit him. They were deeply interested in what he had encountered. They listened carefully, took notes, and even conducted scientific tests on Chris and his property. They knew something. Over time, Chris's story began to gain traction. His encounters weren't just another UFO sighting. They seemed to be part of something larger, more profound. He spoke of visions, of messages from beings that weren't just extraterrestrial, but possibly interdimensional. He came to believe that these entities were not simply aliens in the way pop culture portrays them, but were part of a spiritual reality that has existed alongside humanity for thousands of years. Ancient texts, mystical traditions, and religious scriptures all hinted at encounters with divine beings, angels, watchers, messengers from the heavens. Could it be that what Chris saw was the same phenomenon that ancient civilizations had recorded in their myths and scriptures? The encounters continued. They evolved. Chris began experiencing visions of the future, events that would later come to pass with eerie accuracy. He received messages that encouraged him to embrace a mission, to share what he had learned, to tell the world that humanity was not alone, and to prepare for a shift in consciousness. As the years passed, his experiences became more widely known. Scientists, researchers, and even skeptics who initially dismissed his claims began reconsidering after witnessing the strange lights for themselves. One thing became clear: Chris Bledsoe was not lying. Today, Chris continues to share his story. He believes that the beings he encountered are not here to harm us, but rather to guide us, to awaken us to something greater. He speaks of a higher intelligence, a presence that transcends the physical realm, one that has been with humanity since the beginning of time. His experiences challenge our understanding of reality, of science, of faith itself. What are these beings? Are they extraterrestrial, interdimensional, or something beyond comprehension? What do they want with us? Are they preparing us for something monumental? Chris Bledsoe's journey is more than just a UFO story. It is a story of transformation, of healing, of awakening. And perhaps, just perhaps, his experiences hold the key to understanding the greatest mystery of all, our place in the universe. If you found this story fascinating, subscribe for more deep dives into the world of the unknown. What do you think Chris Bledsoe encountered? And could it be connected to ancient mysteries we've yet to understand? The truth may be closer than we think.